Chapter 8. The General Epistles. The General Epistles hold a significant place in the New Testament and in the worship life of the Church. During the Holy Eucharist, the readings from the northern side of the chancel are selected either from the Acts of the Apostles or the General Epistles. These readings remind us of the universal mission of the Church, especially among the Gentiles. Meanwhile, the readings from the southern side are always from the Epistles of St. Paul, symbolizing the Church's internal or domestic mission. Every New Testament epistle that is not written by St. Paul is known as a general epistle, so called because they are not addressed to any one congregation. For instance, St. Peter's first epistle is written to believers scattered across Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. There are 7 general epistles, 2 by Peter, 3 by John, 1 by James, and 1 by Jude. These epistles were written at a time when the early Christian community faced 2 major challenges: severe persecution and the spread of heretical teachings. Some letters were meant to strengthen suffering believers, while others defended the true faith from distortion. The first epistle of Peter was written during a period of intense persecution, likely under Emperor Nero, AD 64-65. Often called the Epistle of Hope or Epistle of Encouragement, it urged Christians to stand firm despite trials. The letter's first half focuses on spiritual and moral principles for believers, while the second half directly addresses persecution. Peter reminds Christians of the baptismal exhortations they had once received and offers guidance on how to endure suffering with courage and faith. Tradition holds that both St. Peter and St. Paul were martyred during the same wave of persecution around AD 67. The second epistle of Peter deals with the second major challenge of the early church: heresies. Like the epistle of Jude, with which it shares strong similarities, it counters false teachings, particularly a form of early Gnosticism spreading in the 1st century. Peter warns believers about false teachers who secretly introduce destructive teachings, deny the Lord, follow corrupt ways, act out of greed, and use deceptive words. The epistle calls the Church to spiritual vigilance, reminding believers that such teachers bring destruction on themselves. The epistle of Jude addresses the same concerns. Jude introduces himself as the brother of James, making him one of the brothers of Jesus. His letter exposes the dangers of Gnostic ideas and urges believers to defend the true faith. Jude's writing strongly condemns immoral and deceptive teachers and exhorts Christians to remain steadfast. The 3 epistles of St. John also respond to heresy, particularly Docetism, a branch of Gnosticism. Docetists claimed that Jesus only appeared to be human and denied that the Son of God truly came in the flesh. This undermined the foundational Christian belief in the Incarnation. John teaches that salvation comes not through secret knowledge, but through faith in the redemptive death of Jesus Christ. His first epistle strongly emphasizes love as the true mark of Christian life. The second epistle warns believers not to associate with teachers who deny Christ's humanity. The third epistle, addressed to Gaius, deals with internal leadership issues in the Church, specifically the opposition of Diotrephes, but it does not discuss heresy. The Epistle of James stands out because it is not written in the context of persecution or heretical threats. James, another brother of Jesus and the leader of the Jerusalem Church, focuses on practical Christian living. Misunderstandings about Paul's teachings had caused some to think that faith alone was sufficient without works. James corrects this by teaching that faith without works is dead. He highlights 4 major themes: faith expressed through loving action, Christian equality and justice for the poor, control of the tongue as a mark of spiritual maturity, and the power of prayer, especially prayer offered for the sick with anointing by the elders. Together, the general epistles provide rich teachings for strengthening faith, safeguarding doctrine, and guiding Christians in practical living.